And we are back. Welcome back to Esso versus Erik once again, where today we are going to be starting with some admin because firstly, off the back of that Champions League quarter-final, Bruno Fernandes has suffered a hamstring injury, which will see him miss 3 to 4 weeks, which probably means he misses the rest of the season. Most notably, it means he will miss our Champions League semi-final at the very least, which is going to be against Inter Milan after they were able to turn around a 2-goal deficit in the first leg to Porto to end up winning 5-3 on aggregate. So it's going to be Inter Milan in just 2 episodes' time. Not only that, but our under-18s were able to secure both an FA Youth Cup semi-final before then going on to win the Under-18s Premier League as well. So it's been a great season for our academy players. We've obviously had a couple of them drift in and out of the team over the course of this series as well. So glad to see that they're doing well both on and off the virtual world, because obviously Manchester United's Under-18s did win the Premier League in real life as well. But as for today's episode, the match is a big one. It is Newcastle at home in the Premier League as the race for the Champions League places hot up. Basically, if we beat Newcastle in this game, we are all but secured in that Champions League spot. But lose, and not only could Newcastle potentially go above us if their win is significant enough, but it could leave the door open for the likes of Arsenal, West Ham and Fulham. So we can't afford to drop points. In real life, this was a 3-2 win to Manchester United. A very topsy-turvy game, which I felt Manchester United dominated. We're now at the stage where these fixtures were literally only a couple months ago. So bit fresher in the memory. Manchester United came out on top 3-2 on that occasion. Let's see if I can do the same today. And so basically, I have gone for what I believe is the easiest option, which is to pick the exact same team and the exact same strategy that we employed against Real Madrid. It's going to be 4-2-3-1 once again. Casemiro and Amrabat continuing. The only change is, of course, the injured Bruno Fernandes coming out for Mason Mount in that midfield position. Other than that, this is a game that we definitely have the opportunity to win. So I feel like this is the game where we should be playing our main players. We then have Burnley in our next match ahead of the first leg of the semi-final against Inter Milan. So that's the game where we'll be resting players. For today, I want to play the best players available to us. I'm a little bit annoyed that the likes of Rashford and Martinez are unhappy because they feel like I've not kept the promise. And the promise was to play youngsters in this team. Well, Ahmad's got Player of the Month. Mainoo's played an awful lot this season. I played the likes of Shea Lacey in the Champions League who scored. I have given the youngsters plenty of opportunities over this series, but maybe due to just this full squad inflation, I've said it enough on this series, the Manchester United squad is so overinflated that I've just not really had the best opportunities to play all of the youngsters that I would have liked to. So if that's resulted in the likes of Martinez and Rashford being unhappy, then so be it. But I've played the youngsters as and where I feel I can. That's going to be the team. Let's see what Newcastle have to offer. And so for Newcastle, it's going to be a rather bizarre lineup. It's going to be a 4-3-3. It's Pope in goal, Kieran Trippier at right back, Itakura, who I have no idea who that is, at centre back with Dan Burn, with Ruggieri at left back. It's going to be Sean Longstaff in holding midfield, with Joelinton and Lewis Hall as the 2 centre mids. Then Taylor Booth and Anthony Gordon in the wide areas, with Callum Wilson up front. Surely we beat that team, right? There's just no way we don't beat this team. I'll be embarrassed if we don't win this match.
Be careful what you wish for, punk.
First clip of the game then, just 4 minutes approaching as Amrabat looks to feed the ball out to Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Immediately sends it down towards Anthony. He goes down. It looks like it could be a Newcastle counter-attack. It's going to be Ruggieri onto Anthony Gordon. But there's Amrabat to Anthony, who runs away and finds Taremi. And it's 1-0 Manchester United. And I'm just going to remain calm. Because like I said, in the Real Madrid game, we've been getting early goals in so many games recently. But we're being more careful. We're trying to see games out. That was brilliant from Amrabat, by the way. He's carried on from where he left off against Madrid. Brilliant pass from Anthony into Taremi. Pope just sort of goes with a body shield rather than putting his hands up. But we don't care. We're 1-0 up. And it's the perfect start. And now the players are moaning because I encouraged them. But the encouragement shout has now come after they've scored. So it is what it is. Shaw with the throw. On to Rashford. 2 goals straight away would be fantastic. Amrabat to Mount. Big shoes to fill for Mason Mount. He loses out, but Anthony wins it back. The Anthony Amrabat and Wan-Bissaka trio working well. And here's Mount. He's broken through. And Pope goes for the same style of save. But this time he makes it. It really should have been 2-0. You got to fancy Bruno would have scored that. Mason Mount is going to be disappointed. Throwing now to Newcastle. We cannot ignore the threat that they do pose. They are a very good side on their day as the Manchester rain begins to pour, as it always does at Old Trafford. Taremi plays this one infield to Mount. He's got a lot of work to do, but he's got Anthony making a run in behind. He looks for Anthony, who has a battle with Ruggeri, and then he loses it. All the way back to Pope. He looks to send a long one downfield toward Booth, but Shaw's going to intercept that one surely. Comes to Rashford and Joelinton. They're having a bit of a scrap, but Rashford's come out on top. He now runs at Trippier, feeds it back to Shaw. Rashford again. Comes inside, finds Sofian Amrabat. Good ball out to Wan-Bissaka. Comes to Anthony again. There's a little bit of a fuddle. It comes to Rashford. It's 2-0. It's brilliant football. And Manchester United look to seize control of their Champions League future in this match by heading 2-0 up against their closest for third place, should I say, at the moment in Newcastle United. Good build-up once again. Little bit scrappy between Anthony and Wan-Bissaka, but they got it sorted out. Wan-Bissaka sent it in behind, and Rashford was never going to miss from there. Newcastle do continue the clip on, though. We obviously have to be very careful in these sort of situations. I will praise the team because we have gone 2-0 up, but we have to be cautious of a Newcastle response. Here goes Booth for Newcastle. He looks for Joelinton, but there's Casemiro again. Seeming to be a lot more balanced with the two holding midfielders in there, and Amrabat and Casemiro. It's what we've needed to get ourselves back on top in these matches, I feel. Wan-Bissaka now drives forward. You'd think it'd be Gordon running at him, but it's Wan-Bissaka doing the damage, and he looks for Rashford again, and it's narrowly over. That's two big chances off the back of both of our goals, and sadly Mount and Rashford have missed them, but it's been a fantastic start, it has to be said. Now we have ourselves a corner, still yet to reach the 20th minute of this match, but a third goal would be fantastic. Anthony sends it in, comes off Callum Wilson, Taremi's there, Pope's out of position. I don't really know what happened there. I feel like Pope obviously thought he had to save the header. Comes to Wan-Bissaka. Finds Shaw. He'll send it in again. Oh, and it was nearly an own goal. I thought it was in for a moment. Pressure looks like it's going to continue. Wan-Bissaka's going to send a long throw in there. Comes to Joelinton though, and this could be a Newcastle break. We're yet to see a Newcastle chance in this match. Here goes Anthony Gordon. Tries to send one over the top towards Callum Wilson, but Wan-Bissaka's there. Needs to be a little bit careful, though. Plays it back to Onana, out to Martinez. Brilliant play out from the back from Manchester United. Casemiro finds Shaw. Shaw drives past his marker. Looks to send one in, I think, again, is he? No, he finds it Casemiro again. He finds Wan-Bissaka. And he nearly found the top corner. Brilliant football once again. Clips just keep on coming as the pressure keeps on building. Although this one could be a Newcastle chance. It's Booth and he's got half the length of the pitch to cover. But he is on his own as the Manchester United shirts flood back in their numbers. Comes to Trippier. Still could be a Newcastle chance this. Booth once more. Joelinton. Casemiro and Shaw do their jobs, and now it's United's turn with the old counter. Rashford's away from Trippier. Trippier shouldn't be able to catch him. Still Rashford. Still Rashford. Out to Mount. Good first touch. Shot blocked. Comes to Wan-Bissaka. And he nearly finds the other top corner. What's gotten into him? And well, after that flurry of chances, we then go all the way to half-time. Newcastle have now had 2 shots, but they have been of absolutely no consequence. 0.04 XG from them. And I think this is just where we need a little bit more game management. So I think what I'm going to do, in terms of half-time, I'm obviously not going to change the setup at all, but I'm going to drop the mentality down to balanced, and I'm going to go for the in-possession to... Oh, it's already at the slightly lower tempo, but we're going to go for the time-wasting sometimes now, and we're just going to ease off that press just a little bit. We're going to keep it on, but we're going to take it to standard press rather than more often. I want to keep the high line. I want to keep the high press in effect, but just being a little bit more cautious because we don't want to run ourselves down, and we need to see out this game efficiently. Shaw now for Manchester United finds Casemiro in the left holding midfield position. He finds Sofian Amrabat and Anthony looks to dink one in behind. Rashford's header is well saved by Nick Pope, albeit Rashford was in an offside position. Good build-up once again though. 60 minutes on the clock then. You'll also notice I've taken Rashford and Anthony back a touch, just again keep the possession in that midfield area more solidified. Amrabat is saying that he's complacent, so we're going to put Kobbie Mainoo on for him in midfield. We're going to set him... Oh, he's not actually as good as a deep-lying playmaker. So do you know what? We'll actually put McTominay on for him instead because he's much more suited to that style of play. I'll then put Mainoo on for Mount instead then because I think that's where we need someone like that right now. Go for the advanced playmaker in support. We still want to keep that possession play intact. I want to leave Rashford and Anthony on there for now, although I think Rashford is not as good in this left-sided position. We'll still leave it for now though. Luke Shaw, however, is tiring, so we'll make the usual change for him and bring on Malacia. I'll keep Wan-Bissaka on, but I think I'll actually now set these both to defend because we don't need them going forward at this moment in time. We'll obviously switch that up again if we need to, should Newcastle start getting back into the game. Throw in now to United. Wan-Bissaka to McTominay. Feeds the ball back to Upamecano. Newcastle have just unleashed a few more of their regular first-team players. Most notably, Alexander Isak is now on up front. Onana is a long way out of his goal, as he normally is now, in our new tactics. Martinez finds Casemiro. Spreads it out to Malacia. Again, we're just trying to keep the ball. Nothing too silly. In fact, I might change that as well. Set us to be more disciplined with our passes rather than more expressive because we're just trying to see out the rest of this game. Might be a little bit boring, but it's how you win football matches. Matt Targett looks to dispossess Anthony here, though. It comes to Dan Burn. He sends one down towards Anderson. Few runners in behind. Targett carries on. Look at the switch of play, but there's Rashford, and Anthony now has it back. And he keeps going, does Anthony? What can he do from here? Tries to cut across his man. Targett does well. Anthony tries to keep it alive. Finds McTominay. On to Mainoo. Through to Anthony. I think he's offside. The ball's in the net. Anthony peels away. Don't waste your energy, lad. Because we're going to have to take you off if you don't stop running. Did he stray offside? I think he did. Like, obviously, I'll take the 3-0 lead because it'll absolutely end this game as a contest. But as expected, the goal is disallowed. Disappointment for Anthony, but good movement and good build-up once again. But as I just said, I am actually now going to set us to be more disciplined. Into the last 20 minutes or so then, and unsurprisingly, it's the usual suspects that are going to have to come off. Rashford, I'm going to take off for Jadon Sancho because he's better on the ball than Garnacho. I'm going to put Beraldo on for Casemiro because he's more than comfortable playing in left CDM. And then it's going to be Anthony off for Amad Diallo. And hopefully... Oh no, why are we out of substitutions? I can't count. Anthony can stay on. He's more fit than Rashford. Yeah, I don't know why I only thought we'd made 2 substitutions. We've made 3. We're still comfortable with this position. Anthony can see the rest of this one out. Hopefully, so can the rest of the team. Fabian Schär now for Newcastle, who are yet to have a single shot in this second half either. We have restricted them so well across the entirety of this football match. But is there going to be a chance for them here? Isak's in behind. This is their biggest chance. And it's into the side netting. I think Onana had it covered anyway. In fact, he did have it covered because he actually saved it, so it must have been on target. Fair play to Isak and well done, Onana. Target's corner is then well met by the Cameroonian as well. But it looks like Newcastle are starting to apply some pressure with 5 minutes left. Here they come again. They've managed to get Wan-Bissaka booked. It's another ball in behind. It's Harvey Barnes. Malacia steps in brilliantly, held his nerve. And look at the United players flooding forward here. Sancho. Still Jadon Sancho. Finds Mainoo. Beraldo. We know he can hit them. It's deflected and in. And Beraldo's at it again. He scored a screamer in the Champions League. And he's got a deflected own goal off Dan Burn here. And Newcastle are done. Champions League football is going to be secured with this match, barring some disaster in our remaining fixtures. But we've put Newcastle at a 6-point and a significant goal difference deficit now. And Dan Burn is going to have to hold that one, unfortunately. Beraldo peels away screaming. What an introduction from him. It's 3-0. And let's see if we can just hold on to this. Let's get another clean sheet. Back-to-back clean sheets against Real Madrid and Newcastle would be fantastic, as Martinez does his best efforts at trying to give the ball away. Upamecano finds Wan-Bissaka. It's out to Anthony. Wan-Bissaka again. Just keep ball. No need to do anything else. Upamecano. Wan-Bissaka. Back to Onana if we need to. Yeah, there's no dramas. Obviously, Onana in a much more comfortable position to be more involved now. He finds Martinez. Come on, let this be a fourth. This is one of those slow clips. You know it's building up to something. Malacia, Sancho, Mainu. Driving run by Kobbie Mainu. Hits the byline. It's cleared only as far as McTominay. I mean, give it to Beraldo. Let him shoot again. Malacia. Here goes Beraldo. Mainu. McTominay. Will he hit one? He does! Pope gathers. Brilliant stuff. Brilliant stuff. Into the last 30 seconds then. Hopefully we're just seeing this game out. Wan-Bissaka. Into McTominay. On to Mainu. Out to Anthony. It's freestyle football from Manchester United. Anthony back to Upamecano. Out to Wan-Bissaka. Little spin. Into Beraldo. Into midfield. To the full-time whistle. And there it is. Bang on 94. 3-0 Manchester United. Eddie Howe can eat all his words in the pre-match press conferences. He was giving it all this about our style of play. And we've turned up and we've rolled over Newcastle again for the second time in this series. Big scores from all around the players. I mean, look at that. Onana 7.5. Wan-Bissaka 8. 7.3s for Upamecano and Martinez. 7s for Malacia and McTominay. 7.7 for Anthony. 7.1 for Mainu. 7.3 to Ramey. 7.7 for Rashford. And 7.1s for Casemiro and Luke Shaw. What more can you ask for from a performance? Absolutely fantastic. No shots on target from Newcastle. 65% possession. And 3 more points on the board. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.